We live in a dynamically changing world, one with countless new movements emerging every day. While some are initiated top-down by large organizations, others harness the spontaneous support at local levels to bring about policy changes. These are called grassroots movements, and they rise to influence social issues such as racial injustice, climate change, and affordable housing. Self-organized initiatives have the potential to bring real change, but the one aspect they struggle with is funding. Today, technology is reshaping nearly every aspect of our lives, and social change is no different. ActionFunder, a matchmaking app that 10Clouds has helped to develop, connects businesses and movements around the world to facilitate grassroots community funding. We have repurposed existing technology known from business networking and dating platforms to automatically match companies looking to support projects that fit within their criteria with community groups in need of funding. The ActionFunder platform also provides a transparent way to report progress and evidence impact of the funded projects. Sample, the parent company of ActionFunder, has so far worked on more than 3,500 projects and distributed more than £1.5 million. ActionFunder is their natural next step in funding social movements. We would like to introduce you to the team behind ActionFunder that we have cooperated with when developing the solution, and ask them about the behind the scenes of how modern technology enables social change.
Well, hello, everyone. Hello, Amanda and James. My name is Maciej Cielecki. I'm the CEO of 10Clouds. And I wanted to welcome everyone to our first live session of 10Clouds Voices. Over the coming months, we'll be speaking to some of our partners and clients about their products, latest trends in the tech market, and much more. Feel free to post any questions in the comments. We'll do our best to answer them as we go. And today we are welcoming Amanda and James from Sample, and we'll be talking about their project ActionFunder, a brand new matchmaking platform for businesses and local grassroots projects. And this is, as stated in the video, is repurposing some of the existing ideas and technology patterns like Kickstarter or Tinder for noble and charitable causes. So maybe to start off, could you tell us more about the ActionFunder project and your mission?
Absolutely, Maciej. It's a real pleasure to be here today. And I'd not seen that video. It's great. I think we're going to be asking if we can borrow that, actually, because it's really good. So just a little bit of context on who we are. So we are an organization, a B Corp, social enterprise called Semble, and we've been going for about 12 years now, connecting businesses to communities, because we have a fundamental purpose, which is all about driving positive change from the grassroots up. And at Semble, we have this huge, big, hairy, ambitious goal, which is to be the best global solution for companies to support communities to drive change. So that's the big one out there. Right at the moment, we're in the UK, but we have this vision for ActionFunder, which is our latest big project, which is to create a world where thousands of companies are supporting millions of community projects and driving value both for action on the ground and those community organizations and social change projects, as well as for companies. So it's very much about driving value for both companies and for communities. And our mission is to increase the number of funders and funds that are going to projects at the sort of grassroots level. And in order to make that happen, technology is so important, because it's enabling us to create something that is more efficient, it's quicker, it's more cost effective. It makes it easier and quicker to create those matches. And you know, we're operating in an environment in the UK which is already amazingly generous. I mean, the UK public give about 10 billion to support great causes every year, and businesses are giving nearly 3 billion. So it's not like there isn't a lot of money going into this sector. But what we know is that of that 2.7 billion that's given by companies, only 2% of it is making it to the very grassroots causes that are the ones we particularly champion, because those are causes started by individuals who really understand the need at the grassroots level. And they're not big charities. They don't have that infrastructure. And so what we're trying to do is grow the number of people supporting those kinds of projects and grow the total amount of money going generally from businesses into communities and to charitable organizations.
Maybe it would be useful actually to, because that's something that is that I've seen on your platform, that those projects are quite interesting and diverse. Maybe if you could share like some examples of those projects. I've seen like a single lady that was doing some kind of bags. Which are, maybe you could share some examples of those projects, because those are very inspiring.
Yeah, absolutely, Maciej. We've got a hugely diverse community with lots of different projects, and as you say, the one that you're referencing, they can go down to the hyper-local level of an individual involved in. That's the Harbour Moors Bags community group that you're referencing, that are repurposing textiles that were going to be thrown away into bags and then selling them to the local community and channeling that money back in. We've also got they're all over the UK at the moment, so they're really diverse in location and scale. So we've got sort of virtual cooking clubs in Bristol, helping local disadvantaged children get into cooking, particularly relevant over the various lockdowns we've had in the UK. I'm just looking now. There's on the homepage of ActionFunder, you can see a broad range of those if you want to see. But there's also wheelchair basketball teams needing funding for equipment. So there really are a broad range of projects out there, and I think that's the hugely exciting thing about supporting those local level ones, is that you really can see the impact that the funding has directly.
And from what I understand, you're already live, and this is already happening. Can you tell more about that?
Yes, I mean, look, we've been working with 10Clouds since the beginning of the year, and we've been running our beta trial on MVP, the minimum viable product, over the last sort of 16 to 18 weeks. And we've been able to put over £200,000 worth of funding through the platform from a group of founder funders who are really excited about this idea of being able to transform how they're connecting into their local communities and add a different perspective and a different component to their existing charitable giving. And with those £200,000, we've funded more than 60 projects, which is fantastic. And so, you know, for us, it's been really exciting, because the whole point of a beta trial is obviously to build it up slowly, iron out all the bugs. And we've had a few, and, you know, part of that has been through the user journey and learning what is really important in the user journey. But it's been such an exciting time. And I think what we were aiming to get to was very high net promoter scores. And we've got 10 out of 10 from everyone so far, which from both the company side and also from the community side. And I think that's testament to the fact that there was this need to make the connection really quick and easy and simple for everyone to be able to do. And I think it used to be done probably at a local level, but never on a national platform. And I think what ActionFunder has done has been to really be able to make this happen at a national level and transform the ability to give money to small charities, because it's so quick and easy to do.
So how does it work? How does ActionFunder work? And what does the software bring to the table?
So it's hopefully, you know, its promise is that it's much simpler and easier for projects to gain funding. Typically, in the traditional world of community projects and charities applying for funding, they have to apply to multiple sources various application forms, huge amounts of time invested, and ultimately only a very small percentage of those gain the funding. So ultimately that results in a huge amount of wasted time and effort on the charitable sector, and their time is best spent out in doing the community action which they do best. So what ActionFunder offers is a simpler, easier way for them to gain that funding. They can sign up and register as an organization, so as a community group or a charity, very quickly, and then they can pitch their projects using a video application if they like, which is a new quite new feature that allows them to sort of get face to face with funders and portray the passion they have for their projects. But also they can, if they don't want to do that, they can do that in a written format. And then as soon as that project is published, we match them with relevant funds that are out there looking to fund projects. So we use that matchmaking criteria to connect them, and instantly, within the click of a button, they are effectively connected and matched with funders. So they can then, if the funder is willing to fund them straight away, they can be funded in minutes, whereas traditionally you might be waiting months to hear back from a funder. So we're really reducing the friction that typically is involved in the traditional process, and removing that to make it much quicker and more effective. And following that, once they've been funded, if they are successful, they can provide light touch updates to keep the funders updated on how they're doing, using social media and using updates on the platform. But then also at the end of their project, they fill in a short impact survey, which then is aggregated and shown back to the funder, so that they can see the real world impact that they've had, that their money has had in the local community they're supporting. The important thing to mention as well, that for the unsuccessful projects that maybe weren't picked that time, that effort isn't wasted. They get to actually be matched with other funds that are out there. They might be unsuccessful on the first time, and then they can attend some of our workshops or learn from some of our resources about how they might improve that project. And then they can hopefully be successful. So, one of our, as Amanda said, we've got that core mission, but also in the kind of community and product team, we've got a real mission to try and make sure that every project gets funded. We want to see that, so that on local community level, projects are being added to the platform and trying to get them funded by helping them improve their pitches, but also bringing more funds to the table.
And just to add to that, if I may, Maciej, I think from a company perspective or a funder perspective, there are big companies who have their directors of ESG or CSR, where they can invest lots of time and energy into thinking about how they deliver their social value back. And I think for a lot of companies, the sort of small or medium-sized companies who don't have that capacity in-house or the in-house resource to do that, they know they want to support and deliver social value, but the easiest way to do it is often just to go to a very well-known charity that everybody knows, and they can give money to that charity. Now, what I think is exciting is that don't stop giving to those charities, because they're all doing brilliant work, but you can add a component with ActionFunder, which can be tailored to really help your employees. Your employees could get involved in voting for which one of the projects to fund. It could be done local to where your headquarters is. You could do a fund that's local to where your different offices are based. So you can make it much more engaging for your employees and your customer base by being able to target where your funds are going at a very local level. And then you can talk about it with the stories that we're able to share from the community projects that have been funded. And that can add to your ability to talk more impassionately, in a way, I suppose, about where your money has gone and the impact that it's had. Because a little bit of money to a small organization can mean the world of difference and can really help them to survive for a whole year. It doesn't have to be enormous amounts of money at all. I think the average grant that's going through our platform at the moment is around £2,500. And that's having a very, very significant impact on the lives of people that are being supported by those community projects.
And I have to say that what you're saying really resonates with me, because I can see that you're tackling both the needs of the projects and the needs of the funders that really like to have know what the impact is, be able to even share with their employees, with the outside world, what the impact of their CSR efforts are. So I really like that it covers both like both entities that you engage with. And how did the project was conceived? Like what's behind the idea? How did you come about it?
I think I can speak to effectively, it's been 10 years or 12 years in the making, really, since the company was started. You know, we've always been a connector in between these two very different audiences, the business or funder world and the local grassroots community group world. And, you know, through all of that time, we've done various work supporting and connecting those two audiences, but it's been a manual process ultimately. But as digital tools have been introduced, we've tested, we've learned, we've failed, we've learned from those failures, and we've tried again. And through various rebranding a couple of times, launching new products, we've learned a huge amount. And I guess that's what really channeled into kicking off the ActionFunder project. And COVID also was a massive trigger to allow us to really focus the mind and to say, look, we need to provide a solution here that really helps companies, because we saw a great reaction in the UK of businesses coming to the support of their local communities, but right at that time we were kicking off the R&D and the product discovery phase of really testing out prototypes with our local community and businesses, learning from them, adapting them, and putting all of that learning to test, really. So we wanted to make sure before spending more money and investing in this properly that we really understood the problem, because ultimately that's where a lot of products go wrong. So really understanding and getting under the skin of the problem and trying to develop a solution that really works for both audiences. Maybe Amanda, you speak to more of anything more that I've missed.
No, I don't think you've missed anything, James. I think what I was going to say is also that our experience of doing this manually goes back to something James just said, which is that, you know, one of our grants, a fund, went live in Manchester last year, and I think we had something like 70 organizations, charitable organizations, applying for those funds, and we were only able to fund 8 or 10 of them. So that's a huge amount of work and effort that's gone into trying to raise that money. And so we know that that's the process that these organizations have been going through for years, and it's not a waste of their time, because when they're successful, they can achieve a lot. But it's such a duplicative effort. They keep, you know, if you think about the analogy to Tinder, which I know we're not really supposed to talk about, it's a bit like trying to make yourself look like the person you think the person wants to go out with. So you're trying to fit yourself to match with what the funder wants. And what I love about ActionFunder is you're just being yourself. You're putting yourself out there. And ultimately, if you change yourself to fit what someone else wants, it's not going to be a healthy relationship, ultimately, is it? So it's the same thing here. We're encouraging charitable projects to say, this is who we are. This is what needs doing in our community. We are the people who have the track record, and we can do it. If you like what we do and we're in your geographical area, fund us. So it's almost leveling the playing field between the funder and the beneficiaries of that funding. And to me, that's really exciting, because it's addressing a power imbalance that has been around for donkey's years, really. And it's about trying to make it more equal. And, you know, this is all about social justice. That was in your video right at the start. It's all about social change. And I think to bring about social change, you really have to level out the imbalance of power and make it a level playing field. And I think that's what ActionFunder is doing.
And it seems that you're on the verge of actually like exploding and scaling this with this product, because like it seems to increase the efficiency of this process quite a bit. So like this looks like an exciting time. Like we are talking at the like just before that is happening.
Well, hopefully, yeah. I think definitely learning as we go. I think, as Amanda says, where we're at the moment, we've only just finished the trial, and that trial, beta trial, has given us a huge amount of insights and learnings. And the product itself is still very new, and we've had to be very prioritize the features that we're able to fit in on quite a lean budget to really, allow us to get as much value in as possible. But that's still only the start. And I think, hopefully the future is going to allow us to fund huge thousands more projects. But this is only the start, really.
And actually, about that, when I talked with our team who worked on the project, they were really under a huge impression of how the product was being managed and run, and how well you understood agile and software development as a whole. I'm wondering, do you have any advice for other social companies or NGOs, like how to approach that, how to be as good with this?
Well, you need to clone James Dowdall, basically. He's why, but go on, James.
No, I definitely don't think that's the right answer, Amanda. I think all I would say, I think definitely a piece of advice would be I think my experience being involved in the company and in the organization from a very early stage. I've had first-hand experience, as Amanda has said, around how we work and how we deliver our funds and how we work with local communities. So understanding the needs of both local community projects and the businesses. So particularly, I wasn't in a product role initially. I've moved into product management. Initially joined as a project manager, and actually through lots of self-development whilst I've been at the company, I've moved into product. And I think that is a healthy thing for any organization, because knowing and understanding the problem, knowing the needs and the benefits and the value that you need to deliver really helps. And I'm still very, at the start of my learning. I feel like there's a huge amount more for me to learn in this space. And it's just the start. And I think that would always be helpful if you've got someone that's passionate, that knows the area that you're working in, putting them into a more product-focused role, and obviously supporting them where you can with there's a huge amount of online resources and training. I've done training courses as well before kicking off this project, and then allowing you to actually go trust and go with it, and to learn through being agile and actually getting feedback from how I'm doing personally through to how the product is doing, to feed that back. And it's always a team effort. We've had a huge team around me, and the 10C team coming in and really helping facilitate the Scrum development process has been a real learning and a real benefit for us.
And moving toward the users and how the product was developed, because the ActionFunder has a lot of users who are not technically savvy, as opposed, for example, to Tinder, has a quite diverse users when it comes to technical prowess. Like, how do you deal with that?
James, you talk to that one.
Yeah, I think definitely we're very aware of that. Typically in the community space, there tends to be when people reach retirement age, they have a bit more time on their hands, and so actually a lot of them want to put that to good use and to get into supporting their local community. So we have tend to be a more older user base. And particularly going through, as I mentioned, that discovery phase of when we were testing out, particularly when it comes to UX and UI design decisions, trying to make things as very simple as possible. I mean, it's the same for any product, but particularly for us to make it as smooth and as clear as possible, to get them from A to B, and to keep the language clear and consistent. It's something we by no means nailed. I will be honest with you. It's an area we need to get better at, and we're always hearing back from our community. So just yesterday, I was in a workshop where we had a Q&A with our community group users, and heard back from them around how easy it was to use and to understand the product. And so capturing that feedback and channeling it in is how we've gone about it. And as I say, we're still working through it, but we have the proof of we have a great project update. One of our first project updates, which is where a funded project are able to let funders know what they've done with the money, was by someone who is 75 and posted about their community garden project and had posted the image, had done a great caption, and so clearly it's working. But we want to do more to make it easier.
And I think we also have a chat functionality, and we have a info at ActionFunder, and they've been heavily used. So it is something that is definitely challenging to some of our users, and then for some of our users, they're on it straight away. They're more tech savvy. They're uploading videos. So it really depends on the demographic of the audience, of the organisations that are coming onto the platform. But yeah, we're catering for every different level of savviness.
And I think just adding to that final thing is to say we've always got the human team behind the product. That's as Amanda said, the community team are there. We often pick up the phone, or it's having that human element as well that people know. And I think we've had good feedback now, knowing that a quick response and being able to speak to someone is always a benefit.
And I have to say that everything that you're saying is just proving the point that you know what you're doing. Because it's the agility and constant feedback loop of improving the product is at the core of making great software, and so that only just proves the previous point. So to tie up, maybe you could talk more about what the future holds for ActionFunder. Where do you want to go? What are your plans? What do you want to develop?
Well, as I said at the start, we've got a huge, big, hairy, ambitious goal to bring this amazing solution to as many companies as we can. But we've only just come out of the trial phase. So right now we are seeking investment to invest in the platform in order to enable us to create full features for the whole of the platform and to bring many, many more companies onto the platform. So we're actively looking to recruit companies and foundations, private individuals, anyone who's looking to make that grassroots connection at the local base, which will then feed back and inspire the team, your customers. It's got such a virtuous circle about being able to fund organizations that are doing good in your local areas. So our goals are to expand and grow as quickly as we can, but we do need investment to do that. And I just did want to add, actually, when James was talking about us supporting the users on the community group end of it, we do also very much support the business users end of it, because it's not always the work that they've done before. So we're there on the end of the phone, we're on the end of an email and a chat, because we just want to make it as easy and as quick as possible for people, companies and funders to be able to make this work for them. We'll hold their hands to make sure it happens, but ultimately, once people have got the hang of it, it should be able to take off. So we're really excited about what the future holds.
So I'm wondering if someone wants to track and follow your story and progress and get essentially follow it. What would be the best place to do so?
I think LinkedIn, follow ActionFunder on LinkedIn is probably where we'll be doing the most number of updates and keeping people informed. So yeah.
And across social on socials, on Twitter and Facebook, look at our handles at ActionFunder.
Great. So thank you very much for this very interesting and inspiring, I have to say. It's so nice to hear so much excitement and engagement. I'm very looking forward to what the results will be and what the future holds.
Well, Maciej, obviously we've worked with 10Clouds and it's been a brilliant relationship, and we've really appreciated your help and support as well. And it's worked really well across the countries. It's brilliant. And I just think, together we should all be excited about the numbers of projects and communities that will be able to help thrive and bring about social change into the future as a result of this. So yes, thank you to you guys as well.
Thank you. And thanks to our audience for participation in this live, and see you on further 10 Clouds Voices. See you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.